How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. How are you?
I'm very good, very excited about everything.
Yes, I can imagine because, of course, we first saw you popping up in The Mandalorian as part of that gathering of the Shadow Council, and here you are
Yeah.
now making the jump to the big screen. So, when did you find out you were going to you got this call for The Mandalorian and Grogu?
Well, it was. I was originally booked to do the TV show, and something I think sorry, John Favreau saw something in me that he liked about for the movie, and at some point they decided that they wanted to tell the story much better as a movie. So that's when I got a call saying, "Oh, you're going to be in the movie." I thought, "Oh, good. That's nice. That's very exciting." And forgetting always that it's Star Wars for some reason. You know what I mean? Because it's the amount of you forget, and it's Star Wars. Um, and then he said, "No, no, you're really going to be in the movie." And yes, had a conversation with FaceTime what do you call this thing, a Zoom thing with John Favreau when I was still in London. He says, "Yeah, I'd like you to be in this," and he started showing me all the stuff that my character will get up to, which was very exciting.
Yeah, I can only imagine because, of course, I know John's spoken this week about The Mandalorian season four was going to be quite a different story compared to the film. So, do you know if you were going to be in season four and it evolved into this role, or did just were you never made aware?
So I think they were talking about doing a season four I think I was definitely booked to do a fourth season.
Ah,
That was the original plan, but at some point, because of I think with the actor strike, the writers strike, the change in the way everything is done, they just felt that they could tell the story much better as a movie. And I think it benefits from it, to be honest with you. Not that I know what the story was going to be like. Well, I knew I was going to be in it, but just thrilled that it's become this massive movie, which we're all excited about.
yeah, it's fantastic. And as a Star Wars fan myself, it's great to have Star Wars back in the cinema. And all we've really
Yeah.
seen of your character, I believe Lord Janu is he seems to be. We've seen a picture of him in an arena with Grogu next to him in a cage, which I think that alone might make you one of the most hated Star Wars villains ever. But
There is a rule that says you never work with animals or children because you'll never win. They should add Grogu to that because you're not getting a look in if Grogu's on set. So everybody's looking at him. Nobody's looking at you. Nobody cares about you. They only care about little Grogu. So
that
yeah.
puppet, I've obviously seen it in a few different behind the scenes featurettes and things like that. Such an incredible creation, that Grogu puppet. What was it like to work with Grogu in that sense and be on set with him like that? Because it just seems so real from an audience perspective.
It is amazing. I mean, the puppeteers, we know it's a puppet, but the puppeteers are amazing because they bring it to life. And with those big eyes and the flappy ears and everything and the cuckoo noises that he makes and the fact that he just jumps on Mandalorian's shoulders and walks around with it is just utterly cute. And I'm kind of thrilled at the idea because I've got a 4-year-old grandson, and I'm just thrilled at the idea that he doesn't know what I do for a living. And about a year and a half ago, when we filmed it, I told him you've got to learn this word, the Mandalorian, and the idea that he will see me, he doesn't know what the word means or what it's about, but at some point I got to show him that. And with Grogu, having already bought him a toy, Grogu toy, so that he can connect the two. So it's emotional manipulation of my grandson, really.
Oh, that is just terrific, and this is such a, we obviously don't know a lot about your character, but you're following in the footsteps of these actors like Peter Cushing and Kenneth Colley, who played members of the Empire in those original Star Wars films. So what does it mean to you? Obviously you've just mentioned your grandson, but to play an Imperial villain like this and to continue that kind of screen history in that way.
Well, it's a thrill, really. I mean, it's always best to play the baddies, and yes, Peter Cushing. I mean, amazing to sort of follow somebody like him. No, it's always best to play the baddies. It's always the most fun, and you have to keep pinching yourself that it is part of a historical thing. You have to keep reminding yourself this is kind of really special, and not just take it for granted because it's so easy to do that, because it's been a year and a half now since I've done it. So you have to keep reminding yourself that how excited people are about it all. So yeah, it's great to follow those people.
Amazing. And because we know going into this film, the Mandalorian is hunting down these Imperial remnants. So I guess the big question is, what can you tell us or what can you tease about what we can expect from your character in this one and maybe where we find him?
Okay, so I can't tell you too much, really. Obviously, Disney's incredibly constricting about these kind of things. You can't even walk out with the sides, the days shoots sides in your bag without getting a phone call saying we want them back. You know, so I can't tell you too much. All I can tell you is that he is a remnant of the Empire. He is up to no good, like all of them are, and Din Djarin has been sent out to find these people.
Yeah, it's very intriguing, especially, of course, as we first saw you as a hologram, you were part of that gathering of those Imperial remnants. So when you look back at that to how obviously, however the character's going to evolve, now we pick up with him in person, how exciting has it been in that respect to kind of explore him more and to pick up with where he fits into this world?
Properly, I don't, yeah, I mean, fantastic because um, yeah, I mean, it was two lines in the as a
Mm.
hologram. I had two lines, but he obviously liked my face and obviously liked the demeanor that I had, and thought maybe I could use this for other things. And obviously, whatever plans they had for season four, and I don't know what those plans were or how solid they were, because I think they were still at that time was still thinking, should we do season four, or should we do a movie? Um, um, so I didn't know how I fitted in all that. Just very excited to get the call.
Yeah, and to be on set, I can only imagine what an experience that must be as an actor to be on a Star Wars set and to see that world come to life around you as well with the creatures, Grogu in the cage and all these other things.
Well, you're a very young man, Josh. All I can tell you is that when I was 19, I still felt like I was a 12, 13-year-old. And so that's when the film came out, the original Star Wars. I was 18, 19 years old. And so it was revolutionary. It was, cowboys and Indians up in space. And the idea hadn't even occurred to me to be an actor. Uh, that sort of many years later, that I would be on those fantastic sets, the kind of sets you kind of dream about, really. Solid sets, real sets. It's very exciting and a thrill to be part of it.
Yeah, and John Favreau, I know we've mentioned him a couple of times. He is, I think, very much a visionary director between what he did with Iron Man on the Marvel side, films like The Jungle Book and The Lion King, and now this amazing job he's done with Star Wars. What was it like to work with him? And as you say, to take this character from two lines to obviously fleshing him out together for the movie?
Yeah, I mean, he's first of all, he's an actor, so he knows what an actor needs. And when he offered me the job, not that I needed too much, I took his hand off with it. I he I said, but just so I do too much. My eyes are like I'm like a gargoyle when you look at me. I'm, that kind of face, and the eyes just blow up. I said, you got to look after me. You got to, you know just watch what I do because it will be too much. And he goes, don't worry, I'll look after you. And the fact that he said it like that made me feel like secure. And we talked about what the character should be, his storyline. I was getting the information eked out to me very, very slowly. The sides arrived to me on the day of the shoot, so I got a chance to read the whole script. One day, I was invited to sort of Manhattan Beach studios to read the script. That was it. That's the only thing. Look, and I had to remember all that stuff and try and formulate a character from that. But John helped me with that, really. He kind of said, I want you to be a completely real character. I want you to be, just like you would approach any other part. Just play it sincerely, honestly, and we'll make this work together.
Yeah, incredible. I cannot tell you again as a fan how jealous I am of you getting to sit down and read that script.
No, it was thrill, but the security was tough,
Yeah.
No hard copies, no hard copies. It was on an iPad, and I had to sign it in and sign it out, and I was left in a room alone to read it, and then yeah, I had to give it back. It was a very strange experience, but you know, I say again, it's a thrill, but yeah.
And to go back to obviously the Mandalorian season 3, that scene with all of you in the room. What do you
Yeah.
remember about shooting that? Were you together? Was it a case of shooting separately and then it was put together afterwards? Because it's such an intriguing kind of setup there.
Okay, so on the day that it was shot, I was ill with COVID, so they kind of shot me separately, but the rest of the guys were all shot together. I was brought in to sort of film my little bit alone, so I didn't get the full gist of everything that was going on. I was told what to say, what kind of responses I needed, and I just played those.
So it's
So
almost a little bit like redemption now to come on and come back and actually be there, I guess.
exactly, exactly. So I'm actually part of the whole thing. It was very, it was a very strange experience to sort of be sitting there, standing there alone with us stage managers reading lines here and there. And, they're not actors, so they're not sort of giving the kind of stuff that they would need to give. But somehow we cobbled together a performance for me.
Yeah, well, it's a great moment. Like you said, it's a small part, but it's such an important moment in the series. And did you realize at the time, how much it would take off and how much it would intrigue fans to see all these Imperial warlords together and, what that could mean for the future and the past and all these other things?
Oh yeah, I mean the internet is full of the conspiracies.
Yeah.
So sometimes they're kind of extraordinary. You go, wow, that would be fantastic. We could do that as well. But yeah, I mean, I didn't think it beyond the scene really, and the part that I'm playing, and um, yeah. So I can't really answer that in any way that would make sense. But I kind of feel like I was uh, I was just doing a scene and doing it to the best of my abilities, really.
Yeah, and I know you've been part of some great projects before this one, but to be in Star Wars and to be filling in this very intriguing gap in history between obviously the Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens, that 20 years, what does it
Yeah.
almost mean to you as an actor? And as you said, someone who watched the films yourself as a teenager to now be part of expanding this world in such an exciting way.
Oh, it is a childhood dream. I mean, genuinely so. And I say childhood, I was 18, 19, so it's hardly a child. But like I say, it wasn't had never been done before. This kind of there'd been space movies, there'd been science fiction movies, but they were also serious and po-faced. This was fun, and it was cowboys and Indians in space. It was goodies against baddies, and to be part of that world finally, you know, in one's career is extraordinary. And I have to also, I say, pinch myself how lucky I am because this is like most actors' dreams, I'd like to say.
And hopefully an action figure maybe is following, because with Star Wars, these lots to make
Oh,
toys.
I've promised people action figures of me. I don't know how much of an action figure I am, really. That would be lovely. And I know that my grandson would pitch him up against Spider-Man or something, and you know.
Well, I'll be keeping my fingers crossed. And I know you said before that playing a villain is always a lot of fun, but when it came to playing this particular villain, what have you really enjoyed about sinking your teeth into him and just how evil is he, do you think?
Well, I think he's definitely evil.
Hmm.
Uh, I think I'd be giving too much away, really, if I say just how evil he is. But he has a lot of fun doing it. Um, when I was performing it for John, I kind of gave various versions of it, and he preferred the sort of like more serious side. When I was tempted to sort of go down a little bit more, a little bit of a comic the theme to him, because I kind of found him, kind of sort of a quite a funny kind of character, sinister but funny. But he wanted it straight and simple, and more like the Star Wars stories. Should be straight down the line. Shouldn't be too many layers. It should be earth. It should be real. It should be grounded, and it should be defined. You know.
And I know you obviously can't give any details, but did John tell you about maybe what his history is and who this character was before we met him in The Mandalorian, or did you have to fill those gaps in maybe yourself and look at the other films for a bit of inspiration?
Well, yes, up to a point.
Mm,
But again, like I said, we kind of cobbled it together on the day, each day as we shot it, because I was only given information as I received each day's
yeah.
shoot. So I couldn't sort of like, if you like, um, create a whole big backstory. There's an obvious backstory. He was a bad guy with the
Yeah.
with the evil empire. So, but I couldn't tell you what kind of breakfast he had in the morning.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Evil man's breakfast. There was none of that to do in the business. So it was a case of John explaining to me how he envisions the character, and me doing the best to achieve what he wanted to see.
Yeah, and I suppose the fun of that for you is thinking, oh, I wonder if my character ever crossed paths with Darth Vader or this character or that character.
Well, there is that sort of storyline. That's a thought goes through your head. I wonder who has he dealt with in the past, but I can't tell you anything about that anyway. No.
Well, I absolutely cannot wait to see what we see from this character in the movie. I think he's such an intriguing villain. And again, just that shot of him with Grogu in the cage has got everyone talking. So thank you so much, Johnny, for taking the time to have a talk about your Star Wars experience. It's been such a pleasure.
My pleasure indeed. Thank you so much for asking me.
Yeah, well, thank you for your time. It's been great to meet you. And maybe we can catch up after the film and we can talk a few spoilers, perhaps.
Absolutely, absolutely. Up to you. Take care now.
Thanks, Johnny.
Thank
Have a great day.
And you too. Bye bye.